Welcome back, dudes who bet daily. June 21st, 2023. We got a busy day today, boys. We got Ascot, which has already started, a nice little American winner there in race number 1. We've got a bunch of baseball, so we're going to switch it up a little bit here because we got 2 people playing games that are starting pretty early here. Actually, just 1. Never mind, I lied. Anyway, we'll go right away to Aaron's best bet because this is about 10 minutes away from first pitch, Aaron, so I'll let you kick off the show here.
No, I think it's 2, isn't it? I think Magic's game's early as well. So
all right, so we'll do Magic right after this one.
Yeah, you had it correct. Yeah. So yeah, I will go first. I'm playing the Orioles today in Tampa. Really good series going on there. It should be anyway. They've only had 1 game. It was a good game last night. The Orioles win. It's not why I'm picking them, though, just because they won last night. I think they've got the better pitching matchup. You've got Wells on the mound today, I should say, here in about 8 minutes for the Orioles. He's been very solid. Taj Bradley, he's the one pitcher for Tampa Bay that you are a little bit skeptical of when he pitches. So I thought this would be a little bit closer to a -110 situation. Instead, we do have Tampa Bay as a -140 favorite, and that gives us +125 on the Orioles. So I'm going to take Baltimore today. I don't fade Tampa very often, but with a good team in there, with a good pitcher on the mound against Tampa Bay's worst pitcher, I'm going to take a shot with plus money and the Orioles today.
Yeah, I actually I played this game as well. Played first 5 +117. I think the Orioles are the right side, especially with a better starter. Wells has been phenomenal this year. I mean, he's had a sub-1 whip for most of the year, which is something a lot of pitchers have struggled with. So I'm going to ride that Wells train as well. Magic, best bet of the day from an early game as well. Tell us about the Blue Jays Marlins here.
Yeah, you've been telling me to. I need to get in on this first 5 action because I've been able to, when there's been a pitching duel, been able to spot them pretty well. And I did like the under, which was for the total game for Blue Jays Marlins was 7.5. But I really like the first 5 under 4 as well. And this is, you got a big pitching duel. You got a current AL Cy Young candidate in Gossman taking the mound for Toronto. Sandy Alcantara's the reigning NL Cy Young pitcher in the NL, and you've got him pitching for Miami tonight. I'm expecting at least 6 full innings from both of these guys. And if that ends up happening, I think that there's no way that you get more than 4 runs scored in this in the first 5 innings here. Toronto scored 2 or fewer runs total in 5 of their past 6. And if you look at the pitchers who they faced in those 6 games, Alcantara, miles better than any of those starting pitchers that they faced. By the way, the under is 6-1 in the last 7 games in Miami between these 2 teams. So, again, I like the under 7.5 for the total. I really like under 4 for the first 5.
And this is one of those totals that got absolutely steamed. The under first half hasn't been hit as hard, but we're down to 6.5 in the game now. So down a full run since it opened this morning. So a lot of people agreeing with Magic. I actually played over 6.5. When it got down to 6.5, you can get -105 on the over 6.5. I took a little bit of the over. I don't disagree with his cap here on the first 5 under, but 6.5 just seems low for almost any Blue Jays game. And Alcantara, well, he was phenomenal last year. Has struggled at times this year. So I took a little bit of a swing in the over once it got down to 6.5. But yeah, this one opened at 7.5, got steamed down pretty good. So Magic going Blue Jays, Marlins under 5 here. Aaron, did you play anything on this game?
I went Marlins +118 to win the game here. I think this has been another series. It's been really good. It's 1-1 going into game 3 here. Boy, the Marlins dominate as a plus money underdog in game 1. Last night, they're a slight favorite. Got shut out 2-0, but they played well. They just couldn't hit. I think this is going to come down to the wire. I just want the plus money team. So give me the Marlins plus that 118. If Alcantara shows up and pitches a nice game, I think they get it done.
Yeah, it should be a fun one there. I love this early day baseball on a Wednesday. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games starting here before noon on the West Coast. So a lot of action all day on the baseball side. Ascot obviously going right now. I think the 5th just went off, so we got 2 more races there. We got Canterbury tonight with their Northern Stars Festival. So we'll cover Canterbury 6 as the race of the day as well. If you want to check out the full late pick 5 coverage, check out the Magic Mike show. That's up as well. Let's jump into another one of these earlier games here. The Cubs taking on the Pirates, 9:35 a.m. first pitch on the West Coast. This one go off at 12:35 East Coast. Cubs have Kyle Hendricks on the mound facing Rich Hill for the Pirates. The Cubs have been playing really good baseball lately. I was surprised this was just -120, Aaron.
Yeah, me too. I played the Cubs the first two games of this series. I will play them again to end the series tonight or today. Listen, I think Hendricks versus Hill. We talk about Rich Hill on the show a lot. You kind of go against him anytime you can, and you get the number. Like I don't like playing minus prices very often, but in this situation and last night for the Cubs, it's like, yeah, I'm going to throw them in there because, sometimes we talk about it. It's like finding value is not just playing plus prices. Sometimes you find value in a team or a horse that is a favorite. And in this situation, I'm totally with Somich. I value the Cubs very high over the Pirates. Get the pitching matchup. It's only minus 120. Throw it in there. So, yeah, I did play the Cubs as well.
I found Cubs minus 103 for first five. So I bet the Cubs minus 103 for the first 5 innings. I'd like the Cubs here for the game as well. If you want to play it at minus 120, I don't think that's a bad one. And this is another one where if you want to throw a parlay together, I wouldn't hate using the Cubs here in a parlay to get a nice plus money on a 2-teamer because they just seem to have the edge in this one, Magic.
They do, and a happy Rich Hill Day to you both of you gentlemen as well. I kind of like the under if you wanted to play a side. It's sitting at 9, and I think the under is a good way to go just because the Pirates really haven't been able to score much. They're outscored 12-0 in this series so far. But even if you look back at, they've only scored 4 runs once, or I should say more than 2 runs in a single game once in their last 6. So not great on the offense, and really only once in the last 10 games have they hit at least 6 runs. So I think the under is a good play here. You just got to wonder how much are they going to light Rich Hill up for? That's where it gets a little dicey.
Yeah, 2 teams going in opposite directions here. The Cubs playing very good baseball. The Pirates have really hit the skids after starting out well and being the leader of the Central. Now they are, I think it's like 2.5, 3.5 back of Cincinnati already. So they've really slid over the last 10. Let's see if we can get the Reds. Keep going, baby. All right. Anyway, Mets Astros here. Let's head out to Houston. Astros a minus 160 favorite. Have Javier on the mound. McGill going for the Mets. Total sitting at 8.5. Magic, did you do anything with this one?
I like Houston to win this one, and I think if you want to take the run line to get a little plus money, take Houston on this one. Big pitching matchup that favors them over the Mets. The Mets have been struggling lately, so if I was going to take an angle on this one, I feel strongly enough about the Astros. If it's 160, that's probably you might as well take the 1.5 on the run line.
Yeah, Houston minus half a run, first 5, minus 108. That's where I went with this one. I think that's a nice edge there. Better team, better pitcher. Pretty self-explanatory on that front. Aaron, did you do anything here?
Yeah, you said it, and that all makes sense, what you said for sure. I do agree the Astros are a better team. I would put, as Doc Tang likes to text me sometimes when he doesn't like a pick of mine, warning. He'll put a big warning on a text. Listen, this Astros team, they're fairly disappointing based on their expectations, right? This is a team that the first game of this series got blown out by the Mets. Now, they did come back last night, played better. Logically speaking, your picks are correct. That should be what happens. But the Astros have been a little disappointing to me at times. So just a little warning label. I don't bet the house on that one, boys. I know you guys are responsible. You're not doing that. So
always gamble responsibly. Though this is one of those where it's just like, all right, since I'm doing the 1% thing with every one of these games, this is one of those that kind of falls into that because I think there's an edge in that spot. But fair. I would not bet the house on any baseball game. I will just put it that way because the variance is crazy in these. You never really know. Let's go to the Rangers White Sox here. White Sox minus 110, total sitting at 9.5. We've got Perez on the mound for the Rangers, who started out well and then kind of has faded a little bit. Kopech, who started out poorly and has pitched better now for the White Sox, on the mound for the White Sox. We'll start with you, Aaron. What do you like?
God, I ended up passing this game, but I had White Sox all but bet and just didn't do it. So I'm on the side of the White Sox. With these early games, I've got a few bet here early. If you're having a good day, maybe I'll come back and put like a half unit on the White Sox, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking at this point because I really want to bet them. Look, I think the White Sox are the best overall team in that division, right? But they're hard to trust. Now, they got a big win last night. They got a very fortunate call, but still, they battled back and won that game last night over Texas. They've got the matchup. Kopech is a pretty decent pitcher when he's on. If he pitches well, I think they're going to win. So we'll kind of see how that goes. I have not bet it yet, though, but I do have the White Sox kind of wrote down on my list of games.
Similar idea, different opinion. I haven't bet the Rangers, but I will if I do well this morning because I kind of want to play the Rangers here. I don't fully trust Kopech, and the Rangers' offense is just better than the White Sox. So if I do well in the morning, I will end up with a Rangers ticket. You can find a -104 in some places, and so it's right around a pick 'em in that sense. So if I can get plus 100, or if the White Sox get bad, or if we have a good morning, I'll end up on the Rangers, but haven't played anything here, Magic. What about you?
I like the Rangers as well, and I think Perez is. I think you're getting unfair money against Perez here, starting for the Rangers. He's actually won 6 of his first 7 decisions to start the year, but he hasn't had a decision or a win rather since May 24th. But if you look at that, his starts, a lot of times he's just not getting run support. I mean, Toronto, he had a great game against them, 3 hits in 6 innings. They only scored 1 run. Like it's not his fault that that they weren't scoring. So I think if you look at the pitchers, the better pitcher is definitely with Texas, and the better offense is there too. They scored 26 runs in their last 4 games since Perez last took the mound. So I would go with the Rangers on this one as well.
All right, let's head out to Canterbury again. We got 2 pick 5s tonight on the card, an all-turf pick 5 and the late pick 5. Race number 6, probably the most interesting race on the card to me. Really tough spot here. It's a mile race, $75,000 Lady Canterbury Stakes. And you've got a nice blend here of horses shipping in, including She Can't Sing for Chris Block, who actually won this last year, and a couple of horses for Jonathan Thomas, the 5 Regal Realm, and the 10 Moofy, who is also entered tomorrow and at Indiana Grand, or I'm sorry, today at Indiana Grand. So we'll see where that horse ends up running. Aaron, what did you do in this spot? Because this was, I don't think this is She Can't Sing and Move Along. I think you got a chance of trying to beat her today.
Yeah, I went against her. A lot of times you go to these races or racetracks like Canterbury Park, Penn National, Prairie Meadows, you ship in, and then a local will beat you. I gotta think a local's got a big chance here. I like number 2, Midnight Current, in the spot quite a bit. Running second off the layoff for a local trainer there at Canterbury who's fantastic, local jockey who's fantastic. So you got 2 good things going for you there. I like Midnight Current. Like I said, second off the layoff. Really good at a mile. She has beaten open company before, albeit against allowance horses, but still they were open company wins over this turf course. She runs extremely well here at this turf course. So I like her. I think 6-1. I don't know if we get that. But we do have shippers in, so maybe we get 4 or 5-1. But I mean, this is a local horse people know, beaten a lot of the other locals that are in this race before. And like I said, that second off the layoff, I think the horse runs well. Pace setups there. Give me the 2 Midnight Current.
Look at this. We're going to agree on this one. I took the 2 Midnight Current as well. Ripped off 6 straight before that second place finish. Let's Skedaddle beat Midnight Current last time out. Let's Skedaddle also in this race, 12-1, the 8 horse. Someone I'd be interested in using, but had beaten Let's Skedaddle twice prior to that. So I first off the layoff, now you have second off the layoff. I think you see a nice improvement here from Midnight Current. Aaron, you mentioned it. Top jockey, top trainer here at Canterbury. And on top of that, if we get anywhere near 6-1, it just seems like a ton of value. I mean, if you look at this horse, the last 6 races, the longest price you got on this horse was $1.20. Mm-hmm. It's been under $1 5 of those 6 times. I don't think that the shippers here are that good. Obviously, I respect She Can't Sing, but she's going to get bet off the board. So for me, this is the one where you try and beat her. So give me the 2 Midnight Current. Magic, where are you going?
So I do have an update. The 10 Moofy, the changes are not out at Canterbury, but they are out at Indiana Grand, and she did not scratch from Indiana Grand. So I would assume Moofy is going to run there and scratch out of this race. And that kind of helps things a little bit. I went 3 deep here. I went 3, 5, 7. The 7, I think, if you want a price play, I think especially with the scratch of the 10 now becomes even much more likely to try and go gate to wire here. She did it 2 back at Fairgrounds, going a mile against the Open Allowance Company. I like her a lot at a price. I also like the 5 Regal Realm, who's won 2 straight against Allowance Company, but it was at Belmont, it was at Gulfstream Park, and she's going to be part of that early pace as well. She might just sit right behind the 7 and pounce, and it's a matter of can she hold off the 2, who I respect a lot, but I think the 2 is going to come from too far off, and the scratch of the 10 I think hurts her from a pace perspective.
Yeah, pace is going to be interesting. A lot of horses that want to be forwardly placed, but only a couple that want the lead. However, they all like to go pretty quick early. Over a turf course, it generally does favor early speed. You do see some horses come from off of it, but a good speed course there. Should be a fun night over at Canterbury. There's a $300 tournament at ExpressBet if you want to get involved there as well. There's some fun ones on horse tourneys. So a lot going on at Canterbury. Make sure you check it out. Should be some good night racing and low takeouts, 10% early pick 4 takeout, 10% late pick 5 takeout. So a great track to play after you're trying to get back the money you lost at Ascot. All right, let's jump into, I guess, only one more thing. My best bet of the day here. Give me the Braves plus 120. This is a spot where you got Nola going for the Phillies here. he's pitched pretty well recently, but I don't think this Braves team should be a dog to pretty much anyone unless you have an absolute ace on the mound. And in this case, you don't. The Braves are starting someone who is younger, so as a 20-year-old AJ Smith-Scheuer, who is one of their top prospects, came up. He's pitched well so far. I don't mind taking a little bit of a price here. He's probably not going to go that deep in the game, but that's okay to me. The Braves bullpen is solid as well. So I'll take the Braves, who I think are just the better team than the Phillies, at plus 120 today. Magic, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, no, I like this one as well. You got a 20-year-old rookie going in for the Braves, and I think that's the only reason that they're possibly a dog is the inexperience. But you're right, even if he only goes 5 innings, you've got a solid bullpen there. I like this bet a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, when you look through the splits as well. I pulled this up before when I was looking at this game. If you look at Aaron Nola and specifically how he's pitched against this Braves lineup, Acuna has 4 homers and 43 at-bats. Dearnay and Harris both have 2 homers each, and Ozuna has 4 as well. So they've hit him very well. Specifically, he's given up the long ball to this Braves team. So I think we got a good shot at getting some runs early, chasing Nola out of the game, and the Braves taking care of business. Aaron, I know you've fired at quite a few. Is there anything else that you want to talk about here before we sign off?
Yeah, I like your Braves bet for sure. I think that is a pretty darn good one. Yeah, I kind of think the Yankees at plus 148 are kind of a playable price finally. You know, that you usually don't get a playable price on the Yankees. And I know the pitching matchup kind of favors Seattle, but, you know, this is not a great Seattle team. And we're in New York. I kind of thought that one was an interesting game to look at. There was one more. Oh, the Giants have a bullpen game tonight, most likely against Yu Darvish. But Giants are really playing well, and they're a plus money team because of that bullpen game. I don't know. I think the Giants will get some runs on Darvish, and I'm not too worried about the pitching situation with San Francisco. So that's one I'd look at as well. A couple other plus money plays that I think make a lot of sense. And Magic, good news for your bet early, first half of the inning. No problem. No runs scored by the Blue Jays.
Yeah, and I think that's the big one, right? If the Blue Jays don't score, I think your under is golden, right? I mean, that's the team I would be more worried about putting runs up.
And Alcantara looked pretty good. He did give up a hit to the third batter, but he kind of mowed down the other 3. So I think a good start for him. Looks like he's at least got his decent stuff today.
We got to at least mention Andrew Abbott, who's starting for the Reds, a pitcher we've talked about, 3-0 going into this. I played the Reds minus a half run in the first 3 innings at plus 200. That's because essentially their offense needs to get on the board early here. That's how you win this bet. But at plus 200, I was trying to find a way to bet the Reds today, and there was not a good way to do it because he's minus 220, I think it is, against the Rockies. I think he's minus 150, 160, something like that for the first 5 if you're laying the half run. But I thought 3 innings plus 200, we'll take a little bit of a swing there just because of the price on it as well.
Plus 200 is a good enough price to give it a shot. And like you said, the Reds offense has been really, really good. That's a pretty good find. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they get a couple of runs early because look, Abbott hadn't given up a run yet. And now he's got the Rockies, and so logic will tell you he's gonna mow them down pretty well.
Let's hope so, baby. Let's keep this Reds train rolling. 10 in a row now. Let's see if we can make it 11 for your NL Central leading Cincinnati Reds. Love saying that. It's a lot of fun. All right, guys. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. More talk across the sports and horse racing world. We'll talk about Ascot more. We've got a big weekend of U.S. racing as well. And then we got the NBA draft tomorrow, guys, where you can currently bet Victor Wembanyama at minus 50,000 if you would like to wager on him to be the number 1 overall pick. Good way to get through bonuses. So if you have any sports books that you need to hit a number for a bonus, it's a pretty good way to bet a lot of money and not lose it and just get it back so that you get your bonus cash. All right, let's jump into the best bets of the day here before we take off. I'm going to take the Braves plus 120, and then the other 2 games already off here. Aaron on the O's plus 125, and Papa Magic taking the Blue Jays in first 5 under 4 there as well. Good luck with all of your bets today across the sports and horse racing world. We will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Go back Canterbury. It's fun.